Okay, I think I am streaming now. All right, so if you guys are out there, go ahead on the right hand side. There should be like a little comment or, yeah, I think it's to your right of the video. Let me know if you can see me right now and hear me. All right. Let's see. Make sure we don't have any background noise there. Hi guys, how are you? All right, I'm going to say right off the bat, my internet has been like super spotty today. So we're not going to mention it, but hopefully. All right, let's see. Let's see if I can. Yeah, I'm going to click around for a little bit, try to figure out what we've got going on here. I think maybe I've got somebody out there. Not quite sure. Still trying to figure out how we do this. How we do this. All right, let's see. Oh, hi! Hi, Rasmus. Hi, Sandra. How are you guys? I'm so glad you guys could make it. All right, I'm just figuring out where I can best see your comments because I didn't see that comment in the thing here. So, how can I... All right, I guess I'll just go here. APM. Oh no! Did you eat all your popcorn then? In those 2 hours? Oh, that's crazy. All right, so I guess while I'm figuring things out, go ahead, guys. Let me know what you guys thought of Frankenstein. Because you want to know what's crazy? Is this is one of those movies that you can't really get away from knowing something about within your lifetime. You know, you hear so much about it. It's incorporated so much into pop culture that you know the story before you ever see the movie. And it's hard to separate, like, how would I have reacted to this movie had I not known the story at all versus how do I react to somebody who goes into the movie with all these expectations of what Frankenstein is going to be. So, yeah, let me know in that comment section. What were your overall thoughts on the movie? Let's see. Can I just hit refresh? No, but all your candy. I didn't bring any candy. All I brought was my soda. I take notes when I'm watching the movie of things like I want to talk to you guys about. Okay. Woo! Sorry about that. I think that's like the big live stream faux pas, right? So I guess, you know, I didn't even realize when I had scheduled this live stream. Ah! I didn't even realize when I scheduled the live stream today that it's Father's Day. So a lot of people might be off. All right. The movie was weird. At all what people told me. Yeah, I thought about that too, like our version of what we think is scary now versus in 1931 what was considered scary then. Would I have been scared by that movie? Or would it just been the whole concept? Because I don't know. I mean, did they just scare a lot easier back then? Or were the concept of like movie monsters so new that it didn't take a lot to scare you. I don't know. Or are we just so kind of immune to it? I will say there was one part in the movie where I was kind of like, woo, because I like that really creepy intensity. Like Hitchcock does it really well with the whole building of like that suspense, and you're like, oh, you know what's coming. Is when the monster was on the table and his teacher, can't remember the guy's name, went up to begin autopsying him. Because I don't know why the guy didn't realize that he hadn't killed the monster. Because he kept saying he had to keep giving him more and more doses. So was he doing a autopsy on him? Which, if that's the case, that is like completely messed up. So I'm not quite sure about that. But that moment when he like began the autopsy and you see the monster's hand come up behind him and you're like, oh, you know what's gonna happen. You know what's gonna happen. It's gonna be a hug right around the neck. And sure enough, and that was like the one moment I was like, so did you guys have a moment where you were like a little bit like, or are you just like, can see that coming a mile away. Did the screen freeze? Did it? Let me see. Let me see. Did it? Trying to see if I can. No, I don't think so. Maybe I just. Oh, I think that might have been when I was running off to get the paper. I saw it as a kid back in the 70s. Yes, I'm old. Oh, aren't we all, though? I've already started lying about my age or not telling anybody what it is. Yeah, graphically, I was thinking about that too, like how far we've come with movies as well. Like a lot of like the cut scenes, like, ooh, perfect example. When they were at the windmill and they had that battering ram and they were trying to ram into the windmill. I was like, that's a really great scene. But I was thinking like how crazy, like how intense that scene would be now. Not only just graphic, but how they cut movies. Like it would have been like the fire would be erupting, you'd hear that crackling of the fire and the intense banging into the door, and you'd see like the embers falling down. So yeah, it's come a long way in what, like 80 years? I can't do math. I hate doing math. But yeah, it's come quite a ways. Oh, okay. Can I see comments over here? Why can't I see comments over there? Brr. I'm just gonna have to keep hitting refresh. What made it hard? The makeup and board. Oh yeah. Ooh, that's right. I have. Oh, here, I'll go this way. Yeah, let's talk about Boris's makeup. Yeah, I really thought, Sandra, I completely agree. Like his acting in this movie, I think was the thing that I thought was phenomenal in the movie. And you could totally see how over the years people talk about Boris Karloff as far as this movie is concerned. Like, you don't even think about who the other actors are. You're just like Boris, and he became like this monster legend. And you can totally tell, like in his movements, the way he was reacting and the grunting, because I think he did use very effectively his vocal grunts and that to kind of emote. So yeah, he is just incredible. I have to say, like, even just looking at this little picture of Boris and his Frankenstein makeup, yeah, Herman Munster comes to mind so quickly, which we all know Herman Munster was based off of Frankenstein, but at the same time, just that. Sorry, I do? Oh. Because I'm a. Oh, yeah, I am a little herky jerky. Herky, jerky, turkey. All right, hopefully it's not super annoying. Rasmus, that's a great point too about the backdrops. Okay, which I have a picture of that too. But so what did you guys think about his makeup here? I mean, honestly, it's kind of minimal makeup, but I thought they did a pretty decent job of making it seem pretty realistic. Like, my mind immediately goes to like the monster movies of the 50s where everything is like hyper unrealistic and you can tell it's a person in like a monster suit or something like that. So I think for what they had available at the time, I think they did a really good job. And maybe that was a little bit of the scare and the shock to it, is they weren't really used to seeing somebody with like crazy makeup like that, or didn't know that could be done. Yeah, let me just... Oh, okay. So Sandra brought up a really good point, is that she said she read somewhere that he didn't originally want to do the part. It's really interesting, because was this his first... Should I Google? Let's Google real quick. Was Frankenstein Boris's first monster role? Can't remember if it was. Google. It was the one that made him a star, according to Wikipedia. But so it may have been his first movie monster role. Wow. It does make you wonder, like, if he chose not to take that part, like, you know, what would be different, if anything, in his career? Or would he have had a career? All right. Oops, let me do that. Oh, okay. Here, I can do this. Okay, I'm going to swap something out here. Rasmus was talking about the sets being kind of weird. Could not agree with more. Most notably, oh, sheets of paper. I clicked on something I didn't want to click on. You know, I was going to say something different, didn't ya? Alright, hold on. I have a picture. I don't know why I can't just remember the file location that I've been going to. Here we go. So, yeah. The sets, I thought, like, the sets that seemed to be real, like, the village seemed normal. The watchtower that they were in, for the most part, from the outside, it seemed pretty normal. The outside scenes seemed real true, but anytime they went inside, I thought his lab, I think maybe because I was so used to seeing pictures of Frankenstein's lab, that looked like what I expected it to. But most notably is that, am I pointing at the right thing? Is the creepy cemetery, right? Who has cemeteries like that? With, especially, I don't know if you can tell, I'm trying to point, like, on the picture itself, but I don't know if you can tell, like, that creepy, like, skeleton statue in the background. Not to mention, like, all the crosses are all higgly-piggly, and they're, like, leaning sideways. And I'm like, they must have been going for pure creeping you out. Yes! You must have put that in, like, right as I was saying it, too. Our minds. That is crazy. Yeah, I don't, they must have just been going for, you know, let's try to be as creepy as possible. Yeah. That was a little weird to me. And actually to open up with that, too, as I was like, oh. Oh, speaking of the beginning of the movie, did you guys notice that Boris Karloff was uncredited in the beginning where they were showing, like, the main characters? Like, just at the very beginning. At the end, he was completely credited. But I kind of like that. We don't get that a lot nowadays, where, you know, particular people are very deliberately hidden from being a certain character in a movie. I mean, I think every now and again, like, people sneak in uncredited, but you always know it's them. Oh, alright. So, I will say this about Frankenstein. Number one, it made me want to watch Bride of Frankenstein and some of the others. Definitely Bride of Frankenstein, it made me want to watch. And it made me want to watch Young Frankenstein again with, oh, Gene, oh, help me, I'm losing my train of thought. Gene Wilder, right? Yeah. I love him, like in Blazing Saddles. Oh, so funny. And Young Frankenstein especially. Because honestly, I had seen clips of Frankenstein, and let me know if this is the same for you guys. Well, Sandra already said she saw it when she was young. But I had seen clips of Frankenstein throughout my life, but I never actually sat down and saw the whole movie. I think my first, like, whole movie experience with, like, the original storyline was actually Young Frankenstein. Which is an excellent movie and super hilarious. So, yeah, let me know. Comment section. All right. One of the other things that I thought was kind of very subtle but kind of interesting, and I'm not quite sure why it caught my eye so much, was that when they were leaving the graveyard, they were, you know, they had their cart and they were going back up to the watchtower, and you could see, like, that path back from the graveyard back to the watchtower had, like, ruts in the pathway. I don't know if that was intentional or not, or if it's me reading more into it, but it seemed almost to be like, you know, we're doing this constantly. This monster is not the first one we've created. We've tried this plenty of times and had quite a few failures at it as well. So I don't know if was I the only one? Was I the only weirdo that noticed that? I think I was. I don't think I was. What was? Oh, nice. But you, Rasmus, had you heard about a lot of the scenes? Because it seems like it was so much in pop culture. So I'm wondering if it's the same in Sweden. If you have that much, if you have that much exposure to the, you know, not just the story, but the original movie as well. So I'll be interested to know that. Oh, you know what I thought was interesting too? Wait. Okay, let me know. I think I already said this, but I was thinking it, but let me know in the comment section, like, what was your favorite, like, ooh, that was, like, the most iconic moment for you guys? Was it, you know, the little girl with the daisies down by the lake? Or was it, you know, that moment in the laboratory? You gotta say it that way, right? It's Frankenstein. The human scientist laboratory. Let me know, what was that most iconic point to you where you're like, yeah, that's Frankenstein. Let me know, comment section. And while you're doing that, I'm going to continue to talk at you. No, in Sweden we had not heard so much. We did hear. Oh, okay. Okay, well, that's interesting. So, so that's kind of cool though, because you probably had a much different viewing experience than say I did, or, well, Sandra's already seen it, so she's like, I've been there, saw that. But in rewatching, I wonder if it held up to what you saw for Sandra, if it held up to what you experienced when you viewed it the first time as a child. But it had to be a lot different of a viewing experience you know, going and not maybe having it so much a part of your cultural experience to have Frankenstein so much in your life. Um, Very cool. Yes, the little girl. I think I have, hold on. Let me do my little computer magic. Why can't you remember where I go? Oh, Frankenstein. Um, oh, did I not? Oh, okay, here we go. There. I think Frankenstein is really, to me, it wasn't so much a horror movie as it was like social commentary about us as people, I guess you could say. Because some of the things that I wrote down, just thinking about, like Sandra said, Frankenstein just wanted a friend. He wanted somebody to just kind of chill with him. But like the fact that we are still super obsessed with studying like a criminal mind, you know, finding out why serial killers do what they do, why criminals do what they do. And 80 years ago, you know, as we saw with the two brains in the jars, they were even looking for differences between somebody who had criminal behavior and somebody who didn't, and we're still to this day trying to figure it out. And Mary Shelley wrote that book. Okay, hold on. When did she write that book? Mary, because it was the 1800s, wasn't it? First edition was published First edition was published in 1818. So that even takes it even farther back, where they were even farther back. So since, you know, we were medically experimenting with things, that question was on our minds, and we're still working towards it. So I think that is super duper interesting. One thing that was unclear, and let me know if you guys figured this out, because you are smarty pantsies. So let me know in the comment, why do you think that Frankenstein's monster reacted so harshly to fire? I mean, that just to me was, yeah, I get it. It's fire. It burns. It's hot. It's bright. It's kind of scary. But almost immediately, he has almost an over-the-top reaction to fire. I'm not quite sure why, or if there's something else behind that. Because immediately I thought, is it something to do with, like, who originally had the brain? Did they have an incident with fire? Is it more clear in Mary Shelley's book why? Or is it just like, fire bad? Let me know. Let me know what you guys think. I'm super curious about that. And speaking about that fire, oh, we got to get back to, I do want to come back to the little girl thing, though, because I know that's so important in the whole storyline. But let me just pull up this other. All right, you're going to hear some. I call this Igor is a beep, because he is really mean to Frankenstein. He completely is, you know, in the cell with him, like chasing him down with fire, just to be a jerk, just to basically like a child torturing small animals. I mean, that is one moment, like, I never realized. I mean, Igor to me was always the, hunchback, weird assistant that was like, yes, master, yes. Which I was surprised, number one, there's not a lot of yes mastering in the movie. Yes, my brain is a funny place to be. There's not a lot of that in the movie, and he obviously doesn't run through the whole movie. But when Frankenstein kills him, which really I think is the point where the Dr. Frankenstein, and I know I keep kind of slipping and saying Frankenstein for the monster, but I think that's the point where Dr. Frankenstein is like, oh, this isn't my pet. This isn't this little thing I can control. It's something I have no control over. It's not my little puppet. I don't know what to do with it. I can't control it. Now we're thinking to sit down with it and really try to understand it and really try to communicate with it, rather than just giving the monster orders and being like, sit, monster, sit. Ooh, let's open up the window and see the monster stand. And, it was very circus-like. And to me, like, the worst person in the movie was the doctor. And I think, like, even Rasmus, you commented that he was, like, super cranky, super crabby, and kind of crazy. And I think in love with his own ability rather than what he was actually doing. All right. Oh, okay. All right. I think that's some good thought processes there before. Like Rasmus, you said, you think it was just natural instinct primitive, which could completely be, because I think that is one of the very primal instincts, is that fire is bad and you stay away from it. So that very much could be. Yeah, I know. We should start like a side book club. But yeah, I think I'm definitely going to read the book to find out for sure. Sandra said that she assumed that the owner of the brain died in a fire, which could be as well. And maybe that's why, maybe that primal fear was something that imprinted so hardly on him. He's super jelly and feel like that he is not getting any attention anymore. Yeah. Oh, Igor? Yeah. The Rasmus, that's a good thought. Like, Igor got super jealous of the doctor's new toy and was like, picking on it like a child would. Oh my God, that's brilliant. Love it. I think that's spot on with that. Awesome. All right, so let's go back to our little girl at the, really, just remember where I want to go. Don't make me click into, I'm a lover of sub files, so let's go back to the little girl. I think, to me, this was always one of the most iconic points of the film, like Sandra mentioned, for her as well. As well as, obviously, Dr. Frankenstein being like, it's alive! It's alive! Who doesn't want to scream that, right? But one thing is, I always thought, see, this is where, like, pop culture can lead you astray a lot of times. I always thought that it was never actually, the child's death was actually never shown. That, this is gonna sound so weird. Like, I thought it was like, they were sitting there by the side of the lake, popping the heads off of the daisies, and I thought that's what he did to her. I thought he actually popped her head off. See what happens when you don't watch the movie. You begin to think things that aren't true. But yeah, going back to what Sandra originally said about how Boris had just so much work through, emoting because he couldn't really speak his dialogue, and he had to work through that makeup and everything else. Is this moment is so key to the film because you really see him, like, number one, you see the monster having fun. Number two, you see him sit down with somebody who doesn't react in fear, reacts in curiosity, and reacts in, like, oh, I want to teach you. Here, sit down. I will show you, like, the small joys in life kind of thing. And you see him enjoying himself, and then, oh, confusion because nobody's taught him. All he now knows is taking an item and throwing it into the water and seeing it float is something that's fun. So he's like, oh, I'm out of flowers, so I'll just take the little girl, throw her into the water. Because what I think he does as well is once she is drowning, you see the monster react to that and, like, what do I do? Help me. Because he's lost. He doesn't know because nobody's taught him at all. And I think that is one of the strongest moments of the film, and probably one of the reasons why I think this moment is probably more iconic than any other moment in the film. Let me see. Comment. Comment. Alright. What else did I put in here? What I wanted to ask is, was there any, like, surprise moments in the film for you? Like I mentioned, like, the whole thing with Igor, that his storyline was a complete surprise to me. Or for Sandra, was there anything that you were like, oh, dude, I don't know why I say dude. I never say dude. Were there any moments that you were like, I completely forgot about that part, and it kind of threw you off? Because what did you say? I think you said you were like 8 or something when you saw it. Yeah, unfortunately, my nephews refuse to watch black and white movies. Yeah. All right. So while you guys are letting me know if there's any surprises. Okay, I wrote this down as a question for y'all. But yeah, like, everything that happened all the way up to the monster dying inside the windmill. Whose fault was it? And why do you think it was that person's fault? Alright. Let me know. No, why you guys aren't answering that, because I don't want to give you another question right away. Okay, so we're at that point now. Basically, he's in the village and, I'm terrorizing small villagers. Probably, which, by the way, just realized that what they deemed as terrorizing might have been him actually trying to go get help for the little girl. I just blew my own mind. Bam. Blew my own mind. Okay, what do I have? I want to put up another picture. Yeah. Oh, here. It's alive. It's alive. Alright, I'm going to hit refresh on the comments. What are we watching? Continue the text. Yeah, definitely. Because I think at some point, which I hate when things aren't subtitled, because I never realize how much I rely on subtitles, except for when I'm watching a movie without them. But yes, I think the doctor even said at one point that he likened himself to God after he had created the monster. Something to that effect, I think. Okay. Yeah, it did seem like the monster figured out kind of early on that people weren't reacting correctly to him. Maybe, He might have been during the autopsy on him when he wasn't quite dead, which I cannot figure out still to this day. That's another reason why I want to read the book. I want to know if he knew he was doing an autopsy on a live creature, because that completely changes my opinion on Dr. Frankenstein's teacher, I think. One of the things that I thought was kind of a jerk. Oh, I froze again. Did I? There's a delay, so I'm watching myself to see. Oh, that's not going to tell. Will that tell me where we are? Let's see. What am I talking about right now? All right. Sorry. Yeah, I did have to refresh the page. Yeah, I'm not sure why it's doing that. I think it might be an internet connection. I'm going to read. Where am I going? Where am I going? Okay. Let me know if I'm not unfrozen. Hopefully I am. I wonder if I can. Yeah, it's like a weird, oh, that's weird. Not even coming up in my, alright. Oh, yeah, and for some reason, when I'm watching the, version that it shows me, so you guys can see what so I can see what you're seeing, it's like super delayed. So I think it's like, I don't know what it's doing. Oh, here. What if I click view on channel? What? Okay, we're going to try doing that. Oh, snap. I'm going to clickety click. Okay, good. That the people didn't try to get to know the monster. Yeah! They assumed he was evil. Because, you know, I think it's probably the simplest message in a lot of movies like that. Like, if it's different, it must be wrong. But, you know, it's kind of sad that as much as advanced as we are now, like, we think like, oh, we've grown so much. We still have movies where the message is kind of like, don't judge a book by its cover, you idiots. And we still do a lot of times. Yeah, like if you see a biker, a lot of people will be like, oh, or even with tattoos. I mean, I think all of us kind of probably culturally are around a lot of tattoos. I mean, it's kind of a given in the rockabilly vintage world. So we know how much a lot of tattoos does not mean that somebody's like mean or bad to the bone. It just means that they like tattoos. What if you refresh the screen? Yeah. 3 minutes. We have about, yeah. Okay. If the screen freezes, if I freeze, go ahead and refresh the page. That does seem to be, thank you, Sandra, seems to be the answer for freezing. All right. So where are we? Where are we? Oh, one of the things that I wanted to talk about was Dr. Frankenstein's girlfriend or fiance, or fiancé, is kind of a jerk move, and I did not write jerk on my notes, just so you guys know. Kind of a jerk move when she was all like, oh, something is going to keep us apart. You know, which always, I'm like, you know, tropes in movies don't change, because whoever, like, sees it coming, nobody ever believes, nobody ever takes seriously. But he locked her in the room. What? You're a jerk. That's kind of a jerk move. To be like, things are going wrong, I will just put you in this locked room. So it, yeah. Urgh. So I thought that was kind of a jerk move. One of the things I wrote down in my notes, too, is I am obsessed with people who have good horror movie screams. Like Jamie Lee Curtis in Friday the 13th. Oh, no, Jamie Lee Curtis. I'm like, that's not right. Jamie Lee Curtis in Halloween. Um, she's got, well, that was a really good horror movie, too. She had a phenomenal scream. And so did the girl in this movie. Even though she was, you know, oh, something's keeping us apart, and then gets locked in the room. Then when Frankenstein's monster enters, you know, she screams, and it's a beaut of a scream. I cannot scream like that. It is horrible. I'm not even going to attempt to do it, but my voice cracks, and yeah, it's just not good. But that's the other thing, is why did not people, like, we've talked a couple times now about why can I hear myself? Oh, here we go. We talked a couple times about people not realizing, you know, he's a gentle giant kind of thing. You're making him into a monster by your own reaction to him is what's causing the problem, not really him himself. But number one, he didn't kill the chick, and she was acting like a dang fool, screaming her head off. If anything, you would have thought that would have frightened him, and he would have also have killed her. But he didn't, so obviously he's not all bad. I think more than anything, what frustrated me the most is how stupid the people were. It was like, really? And you know, you gotta understand, like, when it was written, and I don't know. I don't know. Would people act any different today? Probably not. No, stop here. Yes, yes. Elizabeth is so interesting. Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah. Let's just take a second, Rasmus, like you said, and talk about Elizabeth's hair, who is the affianced. Um, she was her hair was stunning. And what I was noticing about it was that even though it had, like, kind of that curve of a finger wave would have, it didn't actually have the waves. So it just seemed to be more shaped and molded. Yeah, you can bet I was like, I'm totally gonna play around with trying to do that in the wet set. I bet I could. I think we need to. Maybe we should do. Maybe. I think we have to. Yeah, kind of. I think a lot of the message of the movie was very, you know, knock over the top of the head, obvious with the message of the movie. Whole storyline, didn't expect how that turned out. I did not think that Dr. Frankenstein was actually part of the mob. Complete surprise to me that actually happened. I always thought he was trying to protect his creation. And didn't realize that he was like, oh, I screwed that up so bad, I'm gonna go kill it. And I find it very interesting. Like, Dr. Frankenstein, I think, is probably actually one of the most interesting characters in the book, because, you know, he, like Sandra mentioned, trying to be all godlike, like, look at me creating life out of nothing, life from death, you know. I have almost like I have power over God because I can bring something back to life. But the fact that he then, after he's like, oh, maybe I screwed up, maybe this was a problem, after that, he lets his teacher, his mentor, take care of his problem for him while he's like, okay, I'm just going to continue on with my life. Everything's happy. I'm going to get married. And oh, poor me. You know, really? You're going to let somebody else clean up your mistakes? Okay, not only are you egotistical, you're somebody who not taking responsibility for your own actions, which is something I cannot stand. Oh, did I go back to? Okay. Which is something I can't stand. If you can't take responsibility for your actions, I must scoot back over. The other thing is, okay, so he goes and he's like, oh, poor me. And then he's like, oh, now I gotta join the mob and like kill my. And then after all of that, like they get in the scuffle on top of the very real mountain, right? There was another one of Rasmus's points about the backgrounds. I'm like, ooh, new comments. Hold on. Okay, let me finish this thought. Monster was thinking that he was helping him, and saving him, not realizing, you know, that he was after him as well. I don't know. I thought it was a very purely innocent thing to do, because I think, yeah, I think the monster just had the innocence of a child just in this super strong body and just didn't understand what was going on because nobody had taught him. And you know, even when the doctor gets tossed out of the balcony, it's not because the monster is trying to kill him, it's because they're fighting again and the monster's just trying to, you know, keep himself from being killed. Yeah, so Dr. Frankenstein, man. Jerk. Issues. Okay. Must have been finger waved and the curls curled on the neck. Curls, not slur. Yeah, but I do agree that they were probably like finger waved, but they didn't have the ridges of a finger wave, which I think is essentially where looks went from the 20s into the 30s. It went for like a more softer finger waved look. But it seemed to be more like molded than like pinched and ridged. If that makes sense. Does that make sense? That's what I thought when I looked at it. I could be wrong. It's happened. Yeah. Sandra, you're funny. Wrapping it up all succinctly. Doctor had some issues. Who froze? I froze. Okay. Ugh. I think that's annoying. Okay. What I liked as well is, with the monster, what was so heartbreaking is you could not only see that, you know, he wanted to be loved. He was looking for a friend who was very, very innocent. Was that he did learn really quickly. I mean, the guy goes from like, you know, I'm dead, bunch of different, and now I'm reanimated inside all these different body parts, you know, and you know, I can't imagine that his brain is working at full capacity, and then to learn, as quickly as he did, and to realize, like we mentioned, that after he tossed the girl in the water, that wasn't a good thing, and that, you know, so very quickly he seems to be learning right from wrong. Also that instinct to protect somebody that you love, because I do think the monster loved Dr. Frankenstein, even, and then just wanted to be left alone inside the windmill. It was like, you know, just go away. And honestly, that moment when I am freezing, I am freezing. Ah, nuts. You froze again and I got kicked off of YouTube. Dang it. Okay, so we're getting pretty close to our time limit, so, but to me, the most heartbreaking part of the movie and the most horrific part of the movie is when they lit the windmill on fire and it started to go up. And just his fear and his terror of being inside there, not knowing what to do or where to go, just really did, like, rip my heart out. So I guess YouTube or internet connection, one of the two. I do have to say, overall, I did really enjoy the movie. It's a great story. I think Boris Karloff was amazing. It seemed like a really quick telling because it seemed to go really, really fast and didn't give a lot of development. Like, you had to really look into the movie to see everything that was developing. Like, you had to look past its almost like it's poor story. I don't want to say poor storytelling, but they really just condensed it down. And I think that as a classic, it deserves to be, and it deserves to be seen just for Boris Karloff alone. I just, yeah. So I probably would give it, I don't know, I hate giving ratings, but I would recommend it to somebody. Definitely. I'd probably give it like 3 stars. Yeah. How do you guys feel? What would you rank it? Let's say on a 5-star rating, what would you give the movie? I wish I could do, I think there is ways that I can do, here, hold on. Let me see if I can do this real quick. What is your rating of the movie out of 5 stars? I give it give it 3 out of 5. 2 alone for Boris. There we go. I think I can. Oh, look what I just did. I'll leave that there for a second because I'm thinking it would probably, that I'm gonna start doing this now that I know I can do it, is when I have those questions to throw out to you guys in the next one, I'll put it down here. And then that way, number 1, it'll help me stay on topic. And number 2, it will help you guys figure out what questions I'm asking. And, yeah, what do you think? Well, if it doesn't keep freezing. Oh, look how breeze. 1 star. Alright, let's see. I'm sad to say it was not my cup of tea, but it's a good thing I saw the movies. Classics are always classics. I agree. Now refresh my memory. Did the doctor die at the end? Because no. No, he didn't. When he got thrown out of the windmill, he hit the little thing. He fell. I think it was pretty badly hurt, but not terribly so. And then at the very end, it's like him and the fiance are, he's in his recovery bed, and the dad comes out and he's like, I'm gonna drink my grandmother's wine or something. 2 movies are merged together. So let me ask you this. Are you going to see Bride of Frankenstein if you haven't already? Will you see Bride of Frankenstein just to see where the Frankenstein trilogy goes? For storytelling, I would say a 3. You know what? I'm right on with you there. Acting, Boris gets a 5. Yes. Makeup, a 5. Yeah, we didn't really talk too much about the makeup and clothing in this. Which, I mean, I guess I did like the clothes. I guess they just didn't make a lot of impact on me. Her hair did. I thought it was beautiful. And honestly, I sat there looking at her and I'm like, you know, you have a really pretty face to pull that hair off. So, a happy announcement. I already have our next, oh, here. Here, let me do this so you can see, okay? Let's try a different, I'm gonna even try a different little, oh, we're gonna try the swoosh. We're gonna swoosh it up here. Next movie. Selection is let me see if I can do this. Ta-da! I am announcing your very next movie. Oh, nice. You have seen it. All right. So I'm definitely going to watch The Bride of Frankenstein just because I want to see where it goes because I love the story. Okay. Yeah. You know what? His name is Boris, and I think the story is fabulous, and I do want to delve more into the story of Frankenstein. But yes, there is our next movie, and this actually was originally recommended by Sandra to watch this movie because not only are there fabulous women in it, there is fabulous clothing, makeup, and hair, so it's everything we love and much, much more. And the reason why I hadn't picked it before was because I like the viewing options to have plenty of options. There are a few online streaming options. You can order it through Netflix as a deal. Hold on a second. Hold on. Got something to say about this. Just need to look it up so that, you know. I don't know why I'm pointing. It is a comedy drama. And there is a revamped version of it, but you want to watch the 1939 version starring Norma Shearer, Joan Crawford, Rosalind Russell, Paulette Goddard, Joan Fontaine. Just a ton of fabulous women. So I'm super excited about this because it's become highly recommended. And I also had somebody on YouTube channel, and forgive me if you're watching this at some point and you're like, it was me, and I cannot remember your name, but we have been actually going back and forth, and they have been extremely helpful in helping me track down online streaming versions of this movie so we can do it. I do want to do this probably be somewhere in mid-July. I'll try to get the date out as soon as I can, but it will be about a month. So thank you guys so much for coming. I know it was a small group with us today, but oh, sorry. But it was fun. I always have so much fun with you guys. Okay, just final comments coming through. Oh, Sandra. Girl, you are better than Google. Interesting fact that Sandra is pointing out about Bride of Frankenstein. The fiance and the bride are the same actresses. Intentional. Oh, okay. I need to watch the movie. Because my mind is like, is it intentional because if Dr. Frankenstein is back? Is that the reason why? Okay. All right. So, yeah, now I'm like, I really do need to watch this. So it's going to be easy, Sandra, for you to find a copy. So I want... Oh, the other thing is... This is also something I've been thinking about and something that has been asked. trying to type and talk. Oh, okay, hold on. Thank you guys. Or come here. They would love to see you. You should come down. Is that I have been considering doing a live stream of doing hair, like doing a hair tutorial live. How much interest would you guys have in seeing that? Is my question. Are like, oh, I should have said that, that kind of thing. Let me know. Go ahead and leave them in the comment section. We can continue to come back. I do kind of, yes, you guys know. Hi. Yeah. I don't know. I'm trying. Agatia. Should I just say that? I don't know how to say your username. But at least you caught the tail end of the live version. Look at me. I'm live. All right. So, oh, yay. Oh, hugs. Hugs. And someday it'd be kind of cool if we could do this in person. And I am working towards eventually to figure out the technology to have somebody on as a guest with me as well. And I would actually love for it to be one of you guys, you know, that have, you know, a webcam or something. But I gotta figure it out. So, let's see. So thank you guys so much again. I keep doing this. Oh, Agatha. Okay. That's a much better way to say it. All right. So, let me know what you guys think about doing live stream of a hair tutorial. So let me know in the comment section below. And, oh, that's the other question. If I do it, would you want to see me do it on myself? Or would you want me to bring in somebody else and do their hair and talk through it? Or even if you, or do you like, if you're like, yeah, I don't really want to see that. You don't have to, you know, if you want, you can tell me you don't want to see it. All right. Okay. So yay. All right. So thank you guys so much for coming. I, again, had so much fun with you, and I know I keep saying this, and yes, I'm like this even when I'm on the phone. I have a hard time getting off the phone. I need a sign off for this thing because I will literally be like hungry to hunger blah, 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 until the end. All right, so like I said, keep it coming in the comments. I will see you for the next Technicolor Cinema Club in July, and out tonight sometime will be the Rockabilly Rumble and the J.D. McPherson concert and the Vintage Do-Over market that I went to and all that kind of stuff. And yeah, it should be fun. And we'll be back soon with our new old high def camera as well. Because technology has hated me lately. So I've been rambling for a while. Thank you guys so much for coming. This was a lot of fun. And if you're coming in later, go ahead, leave the thoughts on the movie in the comment section. And I will talk to you guys soon. So have a great day. And I need to going to live control room. There we go. All right. I'm over the button. Bye, guys. Thanks for coming. Mwah!